Hi everyone! Today we are making a delicious and nostalgic cake called Belоchka or Squirrel Cake. It's a soft hazelnut sponge cake layered with a simple caramel buttercream. It's a classic homemade cake that is surprisingly easy to make. So let's get started. For the sponge cake we'll need 5 large eggs, 150 grams all-purpose flour, 150 grams sugar, 120 grams hazelnuts, 30 grams vegetable oil, 10 grams vanilla sugar, 1.5 teaspoon baking powder and a pinch of salt. It's best to bake the sponge cake the night before or at least 6-8 hours before assembling the cake so it has time to set. First toast the hazelnuts in a dry frying pan until golden brown, then chop them either in a blender or with a knife into small pieces. Don't grind them into powder, we want to keep some texture. Beat the eggs with the vanilla sugar, salt and sugar on the highest speed for several minutes until the mixture becomes light, fluffy and significantly increases in volume. Mix the flour and baking powder together, then sift them into the egg mixture. Gently fold everything together with the spatula, using upward motions from the bottom to the top, so you don't deflate the batter. Add the vegetable oil and gently mix it in. Then add the chopped hazelnuts and mix again. Line the bottom of a 22 cm cake pan with parchment paper and pour in the batter. Give the pan a gentle spin to help release any large air bubbles. Preheat the oven to 355 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius and bake for 40-50 minutes. I bake mine for about 50 minutes in my oven. To check if the sponge is done, insert a wooden skewer into the center. It should come out clean and dry. Before removing the sponge from the pan, run a knife carefully around the edges to release any cake that may have stuck to the sides. Otherwise, the sponge can crack when you remove it from the pan. Carefully release the cake from the pan, then gently turn the sponge out onto a wire rack and remove the parchment paper. Let the sponge cool completely. Once it has cooled, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap and refrigerate it overnight, or for at least 6-8 hours. This will make the sponge much easier to slice. If you are short on time, you can let it rest at room temperature for at least an hour. Once the sponge has rested, cut it into 3 cake layers. For the soaking syrup we'll need 100 milliliters milk or 9% cream and 1 tablespoon sugar. Pour the milk or cream into a small saucepan and add this sugar. Heat over medium heat until the sugar has completely dissolved. Remove from the heat and let the softened syrup cool completely. For the cream, we'll need 380 grams Dulce de Leche, 200 grams unsalted butter. Beat the softened butter on the highest speed for a few minutes until light and fluffy. Gradually add the Dulce de Leche, continuing to beat as you add it. Once all the Dulce de Leche has been incorporated, continue beating for about 2 more minutes until the cream is smooth and fluffy. Assembly. Place the first sponge layer on a cake board or serving plate. Brush it with the softened syrup, then spread a layer of cream on top. Add the second sponge layer and repeat: softened syrup, cream, sponge, and so on. I like to assemble this cake inside the ring from the cake pan. This helps the cake keep its shape and make the layers nice and even. Refrigerate the assembled cake overnight to allow the sponge to absorb the cream and softened syrup and for all the flavors to come together. And that's it! Our Belоchkа cake is ready. It's soft, nutty, creamy and absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and give this beautiful homemade cake a try. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!